We start off with the janitor swinging his jinki at Rudo, but he misses on purpose. They have a conversation, and we learn that he actually knows who Rudo is. But amidst the conversation, he says Rudo wasn't really well educated by his parents, which just makes his blood boil. But he stops himself. And while he does that, Zanka says he was designated as Rudo's tutor by Engine. Rudo then recollects a memory of Recto telling him to compromise if he wants to build a trusting relationship with others. And Rudo does just that. It's nice to show how much of an influence Recto has on him, not just as a motivation for going back to the sky as his ultimate goal and changing the world, but also as a role model. Rudo takes his advice really seriously, so he compromises. He apologizes to Zanka, and they make amends. Rudo has a very surprised look on his face for seeing that what he did actually worked, and if we think about it, this is the first normal interaction we saw him having with strangers. He had normal interactions with Chiwa and Recto before, but he already knew them, and all other interactions with the bullies and the guards, and his first interactions with Engine and the other people from the Abyss, occurred when he was under a lot of stress, and he was very, very distraught. But here, he is just having a regular conversation with someone he doesn't know in a situation where he is not in danger, and thus doesn't have to think quick on his feet. And so he acts in a very polite manner. Rudo doesn't seem to be the guy to prioritize prejudice over good behavior. And this shows a characteristic we saw back on chapter 1 with him collecting trash. He cares for others, even if they are strangers to him. Even if they are treated as trash by society, he doesn't hold anything against them. So Zanka smiles at Rudo and compliments his gloves for how cool they look. And at this moment, the only thing Rudo can think of is that smile. That damn smile. He doesn't even acknowledge the compliment to his jinki. All he thinks about is how Ragto told him he had to fix his face when talking to others back in chapter 1. So he tries to do that while Zanka asks him about why he joined the janitors. And this is the result. Zanka screams at his weird face, thinking he is making fun of him, but Rudo tries to explain himself. And then he smiles again, or at least he tries to, and they scream at each other again. Now this is what I talked about in the last chapter. Zanka is clearly short-tempered. Rudo was just trying to smile and be nice while saying he is joining the janitors until he achieves his goals, and Zanka loses it on him. I mean, what? His looks are those of a 17-year-old, but he acts like he's 13. Although this does fit with the character that was introduced last chapter, so at least it is consistent with his behavior. Zanka then says he is out there putting himself on the line every day fighting these creatures while all Rudo wants is to achieve his worthless goal. And then Rudo loses it. He straight up grabs a piece of trash and arms himself, and we're in for a fight. And a big one, it seems. Zanka and Rudo seem to be very similar in certain aspects while being the polar opposite on others. They both care deeply about their jinki, they both don't take shit from others, but they are completely different in their treatment of people. Rudo seems to always think about others first, while Zanka just thinks of himself first while assuming the worst in others. Like being stolen from when he was not, and like being made fun of when he was not. And this contrast alone is going to make this fight really interesting to watch. And Zanka also says in their conversation that he is a member of the Acta, which seems to be the association that controls the janitors in this society. And this is probably where their symbol comes from. I mean, he has it, Engine has it, so that's probably what it is, right? A symbol for the Acta. Or maybe it is just a symbol for the janitors inside the Acta. And while we already have seen his jinki, we don't know yet what it does. It does get more resistant and stronger, but I assume every jinki has a special ability of its own, and his was not shown yet. And if you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and there's more coming next week. Thank you, and I'll see you then.